Welcome to the Parent Support Group for Parents of Teens. This is the first of monthly parent support groups, and I welcome you to this group, this group, this parent support group, is going to become your safe haven. It's going to be that place where you can share the stories that you are struggling with, the accomplishments that are perhaps quite different from the accomplishments of other parents of other teens that you know. But this is your place. This is your place. My name is Kate Bowditch. I'm owner of Clearwater Counseling and Hypnotherapy. I'm a counselor for many, many years here in Everett, Washington. And I'm very excited about doing this online. I think that having to get up and go places is getting harder and harder in our packed lives. And this will offer you that opportunity to partake, participate, learn, grow, yell, scream, do whatever, and do it from the comfort of your own home. So welcome to this. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started out in the wide world in Idaho and had this notion of being some kind of a psychologist and I didn't really know what the word meant, but it felt right. And I've been there since high school. That wasn't what my parents wanted me to be. And I got kind of tangled up in that for a long time and really tried to be what they thought I should sort of want to be. And of course, that kind of produces a mess after a while. So at some point, I got pretty clear about what I was going to do. And I've been a therapist for a long time. And oh gosh, 25 years. So in that time, I've done some really fun stuff, and two of the things that I have done here in this part of the world is that I was the facilitator for a parent support group for parents whose teens were incarcerated for major crimes. I mean, that's heartbreaking stuff. These are kids that were locked up for 2, 3, 5 years. And that's the way it was for the parents. And the support group was a test. We ran it for 2 years. And it was sort of, some of these things have a life of their own, and then they kind of fall apart a little bit like a cloud in the sun. Then just fairly recently, for 4 years, I have run the parent support group for parents whose teens were in danger of running from the home or running into the streets to a life of drugs or crime or worse. And also for parents whose kids were just teetering on that terrible edge and keeping the whole house upside down. And so I ran that for 4 years, facilitated that. And what I've learned from this work is that everybody sticks out of the earth at 90-degree angles, so we're all slightly different. We all have a different take on the way things should and could be. And that's wonderful. That makes it more interesting. I also learned that no matter how frightful a situation can be, there is love at the base of it. There is a love and a desire, a deep desire for connection at the base, under all the anger, under all the fear, under all the disappointments on both sides of the parents or the teens. So I loved the work, and I still do. And, as clouds do, these things eventually sort of evaporate. And yet I feel that that we need to continue this work. So here we are. And what this is going to look like is that as you join, as people come to this Hangout, and by joining, that's all you're doing is clicking a button. There's no charge for this Hangout. This is a place for you. So there will be a topic of conversation. I'm ready to really offer what I know and really put things out there for people who might be able to use them. And so I was making a list. I was just jotting some notes down before I started this. And in about a minute and a half, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 huge topics that need to be talked about. And I'm not here to lecture. I'm going to talk about things and then hear your input. I want your input into this. So I'm going to start, and that's fine, but different things come up that are very important, and things are of importance to your teen that were not in the air 4 years ago. And so these are just some things that I need to always be reminded that the things that I think are always important may have other things that are important to you. So that's why I'm hoping for a lot of input and a lot of desire for topics to talk about. So some of the topics, however, go like this. Communication is the big one. It is a big, big, big bear sitting in the living room. I hate you. I'm never going to speak to you again, but can you please take me to the mall and give me $5? That kind of thing goes round and round and round. And you said, and I didn't say that, and you said this. And I mean, it can make you crazy, and I'm sure it does. So we're going to spend a lot of time on communication, on reframing perhaps what gets said and how it's said and when it's said. There's what they call a series of one-liners. They take some practice, but they can stop an escalating conflict kind of on the spot, and it works. There are ways to stop a conversation and ways to continue a conversation and help the teen explore what it is they're trying to say and how to say it in a way that makes sense to them, then that gives them some meat and potatoes, not just wow or cool or you don't ever get me or whatever. They really can go into themselves and find ways to express what's really going on, and that turns out to be extremely valuable. And so we'll spend some time doing that and exploring the word patterns that we use and how they change. Your 3-year-old talks very differently from a teenager, and a teenager talks very differently from an adult, although they don't know that's going to happen. But it's all in the learning and it's all in the listening. So there are validators and there are stoppers, conversation stoppers, conversation deepeners. We'll be spending a lot of time on those. There is a way of coming at language, the use of language for teens who are really having a difficult time making sense out of anything. And it has the most unfortunate name in the world. It's called, let me think, dialectical behavior. Anyway, it's speech patterns, the use of how you stay calm and stay really obvious and logical when kids kind of want to go veering off into that terrible place, that a lot of them spend a lot of time. So these are all conversational topics. I want to talk about, at some point, we need to talk about teen depression and its dance partner teen suicide. Suicide is one of the big reasons that teenagers don't make it to adulthood. Now, it might be couched, it might be covered with the blanket of overdose or car accident or drinking and car accident. But we need to take a look at some of that and really burrow down into that, because so many suicides in teens are absolutely unexpected. They're just unexpected. Oh, but he was doing so well. He was in the band. He was this, he was that. Well, there's the undercurrent, and we need to talk about that, and we will. So these are some things we'll talk about. One of the big issues in both of the groups that I ran for the entire time that I ran them, I say I ran them, I facilitated mostly. I passed out cookies and listened carefully. And that is kind of the downside of meeting online. So be sure to get yourself some cookies and a glass of lemonade or something. But the big issue that was in both and is probably still relevant in a big way is parental interference after divorce. Divorce or abandonment. It doesn't have to be legal, But if one parent goes and then comes back and then starts messing with the kid's mind, your dad is just a deadbeat, or your mom is no good, and back and forth and going back to court, and just crazy stuff that is played out on the heart of the child. And when that occurs, no matter how old the child is, and that child can be a grown-up person with a child of their own, that game is a tragedy on the heart of that child, because that child becomes a child. That teen becomes unable to really function in a free and growing way when every move is either for or against a mother or a father. It's very difficult, and it can be extremely difficult for the parent who's raising the child. Either way, if the one who's raising the child is constantly pounding on the other, on the ex-partner, well, the fallout will play out in the living room. And I don't know, it's worth talking, and I want to hear the stories, and I want to hear your opinions about that. A topic that I'm very fond of is called the languages of love. And so we'll spend an evening on that. And in all of these, I'll be mailing out things, and you can fill them out, and they're for you. I don't need them back again, but I have some things that I want to share that have been developed by parents and for parents over the last few years, and they're quite fun and useful, I think. So the languages of love is one of those, and we have things we get to fill out and check and mark and draw arrows, and that's great fun. But then you go, oh, I think I get it. So we'll do that. And then there's house rules. Now, house rules, everybody has house rules, and generally speaking, they don't work. That's what I've learned. You have house rules, they don't work. Somebody's crying, somebody's not doing it, somebody's having a tissy fit, somebody's throwing something, storming out the back door, and you can get around that. There are ways to kind of get around that so that the teen becomes a participatory member of the crew that keeps the household moving smoothly ahead. So I think about that. Now I'm not dating any of these. I'm not saying, okay, on the 3rd of March, whatever. Not yet. But as we go along, I'm sure topics will come up that people want to, they really need to talk about them. And what'll be great is in between times, you'll have my email, you'll have my website, which is teenandfamily.com, because it is a family issue. It's not just about the parents, and it's not even just about the teen, especially the one who's in real trouble. It's a family issue. So it's teenandfamily.com. Teenandfamily.com. Now, the purpose of this hangout, all of these hangouts, is very, very simple. It is to offer support to parents of teens so that we can know that in the next generation, your child will participate, will be a member of the future. So it's support. There's no pitching. There's nobody with a cure or a magic pill, or nobody's going to come at you that way. And anybody who really starts to wobble off in that direction, you can't be here and have a magic solution that everybody needs to go to, because nothing like that has ever worked. It never will work. So we don't need that. Every family is unique. Everybody's pain, though shared, is uniquely felt. And so that's the purpose. And the purpose is to provide resources. And these hangouts will be on my blog posts after the hangout. So if you missed it, or if you're thinking, oh wow, so and so down the street could really listen to this, and even if they don't participate, they could listen, they could hear it. It might be good for them. Yes, send it on, and the more people get in, the better. Now, hangouts are funny; they can only take 9 people, but there'll be a live chat under them, so you can add your comments, and I can answer them. I'll see them. They're right down over there. Yeah, down there. And that's wonderful. And if you really are in a way that you need to talk to somebody in depth over time, I'm happy to arrange that. My phone number is 425-783-0337. And we can do that. Now, let's see, is there anything else I wanted to tell you? I want to tell you a little bit that I haven't always, been here in this nifty little office with my cool things on the walls and all those things that counselors tend to collect over the years. I've known poverty. I've known terrible poverty. And I've known acute depression. I've known it. I know those hallways. I know what it's like. So I know the language, and I know the way it can go. As a teenager, I was a very much struggling child. I was one of those that nobody really knew it. I had a good face, good student, had a horse, made it through Girl Scouts. I looked good, but I wasn't good. So I know that. I know what that's like for a teenager. So we can talk, you know. I don't get all surprised and excited very easily about stuff. This is for the parents, and it may, if over time the group decides it would be good to have, you know, a teen group, even just one time or two times or whatever, you know, I'm open. Let's talk about that. So I think that this is the first, and I'm very excited about doing this. Very, very excited about doing this. Love is at the base of all of it, and that's really all we've got in the world that we can give. That's what we've got. And when it's not received, it can be very painful. So we have to grease those skids and help that relationship ease. Help it ease. You know, not wait 5 years, 10 years, but let's pull it together this year. So I am Kate Bowditch, Clearwater Counseling and Hypnotherapy, 425-783-0337. And I hope to meet you every month, first Monday of the month, and we'll be here at 5 o'clock my time, so which makes it my 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And be sure to check the blog, www.teenandfamily.com. Thank you so much for paying attention to this, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.